You know what time it is? Learn lightning time. One of the biggest mistakes people make is not staying at the forefront of customer education. Customer education is undergoing swift transformations. Turn off any distractors like your Slack or phones. Grab a notepad because we're going to shed some light on customer education. So let's start by asking yourselves, why build a customer community? Customer communities are really an incredible way to foster both rapport and engagement with your user base. What is a community? It's a group of people who share common interests. This could be a soccer team, a religious group. Now, in our modern times, I like to think more about in terms of Facebook and LinkedIn and other platforms, even like TikTok. Those are places where we share in a community. Now, let's talk about what a community looks like in a business setting. For most of us who are working in B2B and B2C companies, community is slightly different and nuanced. What we're doing is offering an application or a platform, and we can help drive impact with that community platform. We may have a university or academy where people go to and learn asynchronously on demand about what our product and platforms can do. But then what happens? Hey, I have questions. And that's where many people want a community. They want to ask those squishy questions. They want to look for best practices that may not come from you. They may come from their peers. And they may have some ideas or things that they have discovered that they're really excited about and they want to share with the community. This is the time you're ready for community. You're going to ask, well, what are the steps that I need to take to build that community? Well, we're going to break this down to 5 relatively simple steps. The first is you need a platform. With a platform, let's think about one like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a platform which you could technically use to build a community. But the point to having your own customer community is one of control. It's one of curation. LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, none of these are your platforms. And they're beholden to an algorithm for engagement that is not yours. You need to choose a platform and choose a platform carefully that will allow you and your customers to be successful in connecting with one another and learning. All right, step 2, who's your audience? You probably well know who the people are in your audience, and you can probably spot some of the best people that you'd want to be participating in your community. If you already know them, that's great. But if you don't, you really need to sit down and define that audience. What are the things that they need? What are the things that they're looking for? Sit down and think very intently about the audience that you're going to serve. Number 3, your engagement plan. You want to build a community. What is it in that you're really trying to accomplish? For example, we may not ourselves and our organizations have all the right answers all the time. That's why you're opening this community to everyone to help co-create and nurture learning. The community is a great place also for just encouraging heartfelt and deep discussions about anything related to your product. This is the place where those customers who are often becoming fans or your best advocates are gonna nerd out with their people. And this happens all the time in community. You see somebody meet and they become friends and they connect and they move from one company to another, carrying your brand with them. The 5th is, how are you going to perform analysis on this? I can't tell you what success looks like for you. You need to think about it and write it down. Do you want people to engage every day? Why? What does that engagement do for your business? That's part of the pitch for you as a brand. You come to us to learn. We have a community where you can also go and ask questions and engage. With all that behind us, we've worked out all the details. We can help avoid churn. We can increase retention and adoption and all the other key metrics that lead to ROI, not just for us, but also our users. So now that we have all the steps conquered and we're ready to launch, we're going to talk about the tools that help you be successful in doing just that. It's great to start with the fact that the community itself is such a tool, and it's perhaps your most valuable one. You're going to need to thoroughly understand what the tool, what the platform can do so it can support your goals. Now, this opens us up to a lot of decisions and a lot of people we need to talk to. Namely, we should be engaging with our IT team because we're going to need to make sure this tool fits into our ecosystem of other tools and it's secure and stable. And we need to make our case to leadership and the people that are paying the bills to support our community. So what are those tools that you need to support your community? First off is integration. You always will want to seek out a platform for community that can integrate with your tech stack, right? That is, what are your operations teams using already? What's your data team using? Can we get the data of our community activity into and tie into those other platforms? This is going to support all the reporting and analysis work you're going to have to do. Let's talk reporting. I want to make it clear to you from experience that every business is different. Communicating to others is the critical part of what we talk about in reporting. These are the things that you're trying to share with everybody in your organization to show that this tool, this platform is not just for our customers, it's also for us and for our growth. So your reporting is very easy. You want to be able to incorporate things like, what's the feedback? What are people saying about the community? What are the top posts that are there? What are the things that are helping to alleviate support ticket things? Again, not thinking about reporting early and often, then you're missing the point. Let's dive into the subject of engagement and moderation. I would say that engagement is perhaps one of the most challenging aspects into building and growing your community. Yes, it's every community manager's aspiration, open the doors and have people immediately engage and post and like, but you know what? It's completely unrealistic. It is our task at hand as business professionals with a community of practice at our fingertips to nurture that, to grow that. For that, we need a plan for that engagement. At this point, I recommend laying out your engagement strategy. It's really important to think about the things you're going to do, the time you're going to spend, and the resources you're going to have to bring to the table to make this platform absolutely sing. Offer a weekly topic up to everybody in that community. I, as a customer education manager, have always partnered very closely with the community team. When we have new content that we want to release, we'll do big to do. We'll make a post and we'll talk about it and pin it. A lot of the times it's even better if you're starting out to welcome people into beta tests of that content, to get their feedback early. There's nothing cooler than having a roadmap session where we might have released a video or a webinar on what our product does, but then we summarize that within our community in a post. And that unlocks that immediate attention from customers. Why you open yourself up to a community is not immediately obvious because you feel like, hey, I'm putting myself out there. These are great value adds for any community because you're guiding the conversation, you're owning the message, and that whole loop, that iterative loop, adds so much more value to both you and your customers. Okay, now let's talk about moderation and management. I sometimes have seen the emergence of like the Wild West in a community, early days. Go back, way back. Go to Facebook. Go to places where people on X, probably Twitter, are engaging in the discourse and dialogue, and people are saying things they probably shouldn't. And if what happened on Twitter happened on your community, you need to moderate. As people are engaging, do we gate that and lock that down? Hey, that may be dependent on your particular organization. But as a minimum, what you really want to be doing is having someone or something, a system, monitoring the posts that are there, monitoring comments. We want to have a positive, upbeat, nurtured environment. Management is a little bit more. In my context, it goes into things like the processes, the systems, manual or automatic, that we have that help keep the system and keep your community clean. I've seen many communities go off the rails, so to speak, because nobody's watching, nobody's managing, content is stale. You don't want that. You want to have a process where every week I'm going in and I'm removing junk or spam, and you're working to curate and to shepherd and to be a good steward of your community, not control it completely, but guide it, and to make sure it's a safe place for everybody to contribute value and to ask those questions. So next, in order for you to continue running a community, you're going to have to measure it. We're going to talk about analytics. All right, now that I've got my thinking cap on,
nice.
How are we going to measure community success? And the kinds of things that are important to us are things that demonstrate ROI to our business and then to our customers. Reduced customer support costs, increased customer acquisition and retention of those customers. Our product team itself can leverage the community and the insights that come from that to go back to the platform and change and tweak and make the platform better. Reduced marketing costs, reduced support costs, and enhanced customer insights. Are your members even posting? Are they connecting? Are they commenting? Are they liking? These things are easy for us to measure. Hey, you might have surveys out there that you're asking for feedback about the community experience itself. It's vital also that you have integration with your organization's data system. You need to also have a partnership with our operations or data people who really can help guide us to connecting to higher level value. The entirety of this reason for measurement is so that, one, you can improve your community, and most importantly, you understand how you can guide business decisions to lead to ROI. And once again, that ROI is not just internal, but it's to your customers as well. There's a lot we've covered here, but these are the things that you want to keep in mind. The 5 steps to launch your community are your platform, the audience, the engagement plan or strategy that you have, then your flow and function. How do you manage it? How do you work with it? And your analysis of that. You have to implement the right tools so that you can scale and you can succeed. You need to manage that community. You need to moderate that community with engagement and attention. And finally, you need to measure, right? This is your formula to successfully launch and run a community program. Well, that's all we've got for you today here on Learn Lightning. Thank you so much for joining. This is your lightning strike. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button so that you never miss an episode of this series. Thanks again, everybody. I am Dave Derington, and I'll see you next time.